Before I start the video, some of the media were either old screenshots from the Discord server or old videos of Fingerprints refresh from people and YouTubers, so it'll all be credited in the description of the video. Anyways, on to the video. Hello, and welcome to the Angry Birds Refresh history video. In this video, I will be explaining the history of Refresh and how it evolved since 2023. Anyways, let's get on to the video. After Angry Birds Friends made the jump to Unity, the only way to play the Adobe Flash version at the time was via the Flashpoint curation. This version of the game was based on an archived 2018 build of Angry Birds Friends that was hacked to be played without a server connection. As a result, it had limited functionality. There were no tournaments, leaderboards, or any way to save progress. Shortly after a 2012 version of Angry Birds Friends was archived, a few members of the Angry Birds modding hub had become nostalgic for the older versions of the game. They later came together to make a mod that attempts to bring back that feeling of the original game. They called themselves Team Flashcord, and that mod was called Angry Birds Discord, Angry Birds Friends Classic? Ah, yes, Angry Birds Refresh. Angry Birds Refresh started development back in late 2022, and it was built off the archived 2018 build of Angry Birds Friends, which had an unobfuscated build that was available at the time.
We chose it because it has an unobfuscated build available. You may be wondering, what is code obfuscation? To put it simply, it's the practice of making code harder to read by changing all variable, class, and function names, among other things, to be randomly generated. For example, the name a cool class becomes a bunch of randomly generated characters. This is mostly a security thing to slow down exploits and such. However, it also affects modding efforts, such as ours. Rovio used a software called Secure SWF to accomplish this across most of their Angry Birds Flash games, including Angry Birds Friends. Luckily, the community made archives of versions of the game from 2017 to 2019 in which the developers left additional testing builds that are fully unobfuscated, and Refresh is based on one of those. It is much more feasible to work with said builds than to work with one of the obfuscated builds. We can restore and expand the game much more easily than we could if working with an obfuscated build. In such case, we'd need to blindly figure out what is what, and that can take a lot of time. So yeah, the 2018 build was chosen due to it being unobfuscated, which makes it a lot easier to restore server functionality and add additional content.
Here are some scrap logos that Team Flashcord posted on their Twitter account. As you can see, they look very different to the one we have now. They later got updated to these more stylized logos. It's interesting to note that these logos look a lot more like the original 2012 Angry Birds Friends logos. Probably for the best, they ended up using these instead. Here's the very first loading screen of Refresh. This loading screen predates the open beta release. It looks very similar to the one from Angry Birds Facebook. Yes, Facebook, not Friends, because there was no Did You Know box unlike the future versions of both Friends and Refresh. Now, on to the open beta launch. On January 2nd, 2023, the open beta for Angry Birds Refresh was released. It has a lot of differences compared to modern-day Refresh. The most notable differences are the UI. It was completely different from what we have now. The tournament screen, for instance, looks a lot more like the 2018 version rather than the 2014 style UI the game uses now. Some of the buttons on this menu were left over from the archived version of 2018 Friends, which were the Start Cup and the More Games button in the tournament menu. Gameplay-wise, it's pretty similar to the current version of the game. There was some changes made to the power-ups. In this version, the game still uses Power Potion rather than Super Seeds. The Boombox power-up was also still in the game at this time. It was removed from the current version of the game as it was deemed to, quote, overpowered.
The main issue was that players would be able to use Boombox as a way to use Wingman without wasting a bird. This would make it so you could get more points than a player who didn't have Boombox or Wingman.
The song that played during the open beta of Angry Birds Refresh was Man on the Move by Joni Hawksworth from the Funktastic Super 70s album, which you are listening to right now. They had chosen the song as it had appeared in the official Angry Birds Friends launch trailer, and they thought it would fit the theme. It was used during the open beta tournament as its theme before it was changed to the 2013 Angry Birds Friends song. The open beta also had its own loading screens. Both loading screens look pretty similar, as they're both based off of the original 2012 Angry Birds Friends loading screen, with the second one updating the text to better match the original. This version of the game lasted about a month before... On February 2nd, 2023, exactly a month after the game was released, Team Flash Corps got a cease and desist from Rovio. This caused them to shut down Angry Birds Refresh, much to the dismay of many of its fans. Because of this, there wasn't really much that happened during most of 2023. However, later in the year, the Angry Birds fanbase have come together to send a document to Rovio. In response, Rovio made a fan game email which you can request permission to make a fan game. This caught attention to one of the team members, and they notified the leader of Team Flash Corps, to which they had said, maybe we could try. So, they sent an email, and so on November 16th, 2023, they confirmed via Twitter and Discord that Angry Birds Refresh is coming back, which leads to the next section, the relaunch of Angry Birds Refresh. On January 16, 2024, Angry Birds Refresh re-released, and also with it, the visuals were changed to be like a combination of the 2014 to 2015 style, hence the tournament background being 2015 one instead of the 2018 one, and the UI being in the 2014 style instead of the 2018 style. The loading screens in the relaunch are closely related to the cloudy loading screen from Angry Birds Friends, so let's start with the pre-release. This one is the same but has the older Refresh logo, and there was a loading bar with a DMCA box. The second pre-release loading screen was the same, but the logo was replaced with a very similar logo to what we have now, but the H in the logo was off. The third loading screen now has the final logo, and in the fourth loading screen, replaced the DMCA box with the cloud that we see in future versions, and the loading bar was shifted under the cloud. Anyways, on to the next update. On April 10th, 2024, they released the Getting Lucky update, which adds the Go Green Get Lucky episode to the bonus content. Here's a fun fact about this update. The name that was originally supposed to be for this update was Going Green, but it was scrapped to avoid confusion with the Angry Birds Friends episode Green Day, so the name was changed to be Getting Lucky. There was also a new bird that was added to the Bird-O-Matic, which was the Ruby redesign made by Crema Draws, which we still have today. There was also some changes to the economy, which raised the prices of the power-ups, but also received higher amounts of rewards in tournaments, and Wingman got nerfed. This update was probably mainly to add the bonus content to Refresh, so that was all of it. Let's go to the next section. On April 29th, 2024, the 2014ification update was released, and it was mainly about visual changes that aimed to make the game go more into the 2014 style, but also has a few quality of life updates into the game itself. The notable changes in this update are the Power Potion was replaced with Super Seeds, the tournament background was replaced with the 2014 one, and the spinning wheel rewards were replaced with ones that are era appropriate to 2014, which is now not existing in current day Refresh. And there was also some adjustments to the power-up bar. There was also some quality of life updates, such as sending gifts and brags no longer gives a confirmation window. The bot now notifies you if you received brags and gifts. Adding friends is now easier, and the redeem code pop-up can tell you if the code wasn't redeemed. This update was mainly visual changes and improvements, so let's go into the next section. On June 23rd, 2024, the Summer Mayhem update was released, and this was made before the Summer Tournament happened. The Summer Picnic episode was added in the bonus content, and the button was slightly redesigned to have the elements from Summer Picnic. The Minion Pig is now in the Bird-O-Matic, which we still have today. The background in Go Green Get Lucky is now the proper one, and the particles were also fixed. Eventually, on July 20th, 2024, the settings menu was added. It was more bare bones than how it is in current day Angry Birds Refresh. There was also a more refreshed loading screen, which made the border of the cloud lighter. There were some other UI adjustments and bug fixes, and that was really it. So let's go to the next section, which is the anniversary of the game. On January 16th, 2025, the Double or Nothing update was released, and this happened on the first anniversary of the relaunch, which I think they wanted to give a thank you to the people who played Angry Birds Refresh. In this update, they added the Tournament Museum and the Abraca Bacon episode to the bonus content, which now has been changed to bonus levels, and the button now has all 3 elements from each episode in the new Extras menu. They also added the theme music for the bonus levels. The purpose of the Tournament Museum was to make special tournaments from the past playable again. Here's the tournaments that were first added to the Tournament Museum. I'm just gonna show a list because it would be easier. And they also added some Bertomatic items that were unused in the original game. There was also some loading screen iterations of the final and current Double or Nothing loading screen, so let's start with the earliest one. With the earliest one, the base of it was the 2013 loading screen from Angry Birds Friends, with the pigs being more zoomed in, but also Red and Wingman are behind the logo, and the warning text at the bottom was black. The second loading screen had smaller changes to the first one, such as the warning text at the bottom is now white and has a black border, and some elements were shifted down. On the third loading screen, the logo is smaller and now red is over the logo, and in the fourth loading screen, the border on the cloud was changed to be a darker color. Now the final loading screen for the update looked a lot closer to the fourth loading screen in Friends, but the Angry Birds logo was a bit off. But it was eventually fixed in an update, which is the current loading screen we have in Angry Birds Refresh. That was all for the anniversary update, the relaunch. Now let's see the present day of Angry Birds Refresh. Current day Angry Birds Refresh is a lot more like Angry Birds Friends with 2014 than the one that it was built on. So here's a showcase of the game. This section is going to be more unscripted, so beware if I repeat some things. Hello, welcome to the showcase of Angry Birds Refresh. Here's the loading screen. I have mentioned in the history of it. Oh, there goes that. But okay. By the way, I'm running the Windows version or the Air Runtime version, the Adobe Air Runtime version on Linux because an update. They pushed an update that makes the that doesn't require Edge WebView to log in anymore, which is like basically how the Discord window is. So, anyways, let's start with the Friends bar. This bar on the side. See, you got the tournaments. You got the tournament scores. You got bird coins, which I'll go over that later. You can see people's tournament score, but also there's profiles and also pins. See, pins you can get them. These are like the default pins, the medium pig, and also the LGBTQ ones, the pride month ones. But there's also like special pins such as the skull, which you get it for Halloween tournament, and also Candy King Pig, which is Holiday 2025. By the way, fun fact, this is actually the level failed, like, screen. This pig was at the level failed screen in Angry Birds Seasons in Winter Wonderham. Yeah, that's. You also got the veterans. You also got the beta bonus hat, which is the beta phase of the bonus levels. Like, actually, I don't remember. Yeah, that's. See with pins, you can see the score, such as story, bonus, and PCO. Well, that's it. Also the tournament score and the trophies. It is there. Oh, and I threw it out. Didn't realize you could do that. Okay. So here's the other ones. So these are like actions. This one is to full screen the game. This one is to mute the game. This one is the credits. Right here. So the credits. I'm in there. Here's also the other buttons. Well, these are like the main ones. Here's the invite, which you can invite friends. Here's also the inbox where you can send new gifts. I already did that. Here's the shop, which you can buy power-ups and slingshots. Also redeem code here. So power-ups, you can buy a power-up separately or buy them as a pack, which is pretty expensive in this economy. Yeah. There's also a description. There's also slingshots, which they have attributes to them. Like, for example, wood chipper, more damage, stone crusher, more damage to spell, vice versa. Goda's sling is basically like a combination of all of this. Wishbone is basically like a skin of Goda's sling. Jingle's sling is like its own thing. Like, it shoots out ornaments, like basically. There's also, like right discussion about the slingshots. There's also the bird coins. The one thing is you cannot buy them like with actual money, like in actual rich friends. So you have to spend them wisely. Like you have to save, like basically. So okay, here's the main menu. I get distracted doing this, but explain about this. But you see, you got the main buttons such as the tournament button and the story levels. You also got redeem codes, which has secret codes, but I won't show. And besides, you have to restart the game because you can't get out of it. There's also options, which I'll go over that later. So you see with the story levels, see it has its own levels. There's also golden eggs where you can find, for example, like the shop, the help, the inbox, and then there's the 5 main episodes. The first 2 from Classic. This one used to be a Facebook exclusive, but it got put into Gamer's Classic. These 2 are actually exclusive. They're only to like Gamer's friends, Pigtails and Piggy Beach. Let's see, anybody. I think some people put these levels to Classic. I don't know. There's also the tournament levels. The tournament menu. So you see, you got 6 levels, which is every week. Yeah, right there. Weekly tournament. See, there's also the podium, which has like the first place, and then the other. And then like if you're below like third, it would be here. Places. There's also the last week scores. See here. See, it only shows the top 3. You can show trophies, shows how many bird coins they earned. Yeah, I don't think these. Yeah. But also here's actually wait. Before I show that. Here's the options. Here's like when it first came out, it was a lot bare bones. It was like very bare bones. Oh, this is like better. See, there's tournament background, which only affects in-game. But also, there's additions such as the toggleable friends bar, which existed in Classic, not Classic, in mobile version of Mega Bridge Friends, like Fusion, not Unity. See the tournament background. The day stadium would be the 2014 one. The 2015 one used to be the one that was default. There's also Night Stadium, which is like the old, which is like 2012 to 2013. There's also the theme song, which you can change it from the oldest one, like 2012 to like 2013. And then you got Friends, which is the default one, and also Water Room Whistlebird. See, it would be ignored. For example, like Power Trouble would have its own theme, or like Nostalgia Tournament, which would force enable Night Stadium with Classic. There's also so you can disable the pins and profiles, like you can do like pretty much like a Gamer's Classic. There's also the sound effects. Here's the toggle with friends bar. So I changed the background, so it's gonna be the default one. So the 2015 one. See the friends bar is permanent, like it doesn't retract. Also power ups. This used to be power potion, but now it supersedes from when it was when it was the 2014ification update. You also got the slingshots. There's also wingman. See, in game, this would be changed to like a help, like a little like help thing. See here, shows. Okay, so here's the pause. Here's the like pause menu. You see, there's postman pig, which like in Classic, if I recall correctly, you can basically just hide the ads. see, this branding was changed. This because well, this one is built off an unobfuscated build, which still said Rovio News because well, Rovio owns Angry Birds, obviously. So it was changed to be Piggy News to hide the copyright. We also there's only like 2 ads which are permanent, such as Angry Birds Friends because well this is like Angry Birds Friends, but it's a re-implementation, and the official Discord server, which is the T-Flash code. And this also disables the help like thing because it's over here. You can disable the sound. Oh, look at why you can do it. Look at why this is not disabled as well. But let's see. So like that's really it for this menu. So let's go to the extras menu, which you got the tournament museum and bonus levels. See here's and also there's silver stuffed, which actually see bonus levels. They got they only have 3 as of now, and there's currently 1 that is on the way, which is Flash Flood. So we got Go Get Lucky from the Getting Lucky update, Summer Picnic from Summer Mayhem, and Double or Nothing, which is African Bacon. And there's also a description here. So they also have its corresponding like themes. If I get out here, let's go get lucky. Here's Summer Picnic. Here's Erica Bacon. So that's really it for bonus levels. Here's the tournament museum, which the purpose of this is to make special tournaments playable. This is 2012. This background is actually custom because like in 2012 it was different than how it is. So like if you go if I save it. But let's like take the actual property, so the program and stuff. But some tournaments also have like special power-ups, such as like, if I go to Winter Tournament. Well, there's Santa Bob instead of Wingman. But there's also TNT, like presents as the so if we go to like something that's more like crazier or interesting, nostalgia tournament is pretty interesting because this goes back to 2012. See here, you only have the 2012 power-ups, such as these 4. Also, King Sling is the classic one. See right there, even has the particles. There's no wingman nor slingshot. It's like mainly the classic. But there's also see here's Valentine's, which still has like the classic power-ups, but there's also TNT drop. There's also wingman. There's no slingshot still. That's really it for that. But here's Power Trouble, which is like the most interesting. This button goes to like the website, to the Power Trouble website. This tournament was to celebrate the 5th year anniversary of Universe Power Trouble. So this is Power Trouble. This is like the most interesting because you don't get power-ups, nor slingshots, nor wingman. Like there's just no power-ups, no slingshots, and no wingman. It's just and also all the powerless. It's supposed to be. I forgot the first episode. Decharge. Okay, it was Decharge Dilemma. I probably might have butchered that, but that's fine. Oh yeah. Okay. Wait, I forgot to mention. The bonus levels they use moon stars. You get moon stars, not. You get moon stars, not like the actual stars. They're both different. The description probably showed it. There's also the There's also this is the last thing for the show is the overstuff, the universe overstuff. This has its own birds. It's like Devin, Bluebird, Juno. Yeah, you see this one you can click infinitely. Devin is just like goes down. This is still like This is still like the regular stars, not moon stars. Yeah, it still uses the default stars. Bonus level is completely. Okay, you know what, never mind. Screw that. Okay, well, that was really it for this showcase. So thank you guys for watching the showcase. Now back to the history video. Now back to the history video. That was current day refresh, but this next section is going to be interesting to some people. This section is about the upcoming updates going into refresh. Here's some that got announced. The first update that they announced was the Flash Flood update on January 16th of this year, which was the second anniversary of the relaunch. This update ports in the levels from Angry Birds McDonald's, Angry Birds Hikey, Angry Birds and Ultra Book Adventure, Angry Birds Video Latazos, and more levels from the Flash games into refresh, and it's all going to be combined into one episode for the bonus levels. This was initially teased in one of the tournaments and in one of the updates on the image with a QR code which leads to this website, which showed a glitched pig and a question with a type box. The question was, what's his name? And if you answered it wrong, it would say wrong answer in Chinese. Someone also inspected the website which showed some messages which says, you heard of me before, and some text that is backwards that says, make another attempt. But if you guessed the name right, it would give you some pictures with effects applied to them. But after that, the update was announced. What an interesting way to tease an update. The second future update that they announced was the mobile port of Angry Birds Refresh on February 23rd of this year. Yes, you heard that right, a mobile port. They managed to convince Rovio to let them make a mobile port of Refresh. Currently, they only showed an image of running the game on an Android phone. But there's also going to be some changes for the game itself for the mobile port, which is going to make it more friendly for mobile devices than using the desktop UI. That was all for that section, so that was the history of Angry Birds Refresh. Thank you guys for watching. You should also try the game, it's really good. Anyways, goodbye and have a great day.